I'm Kelsey with Kelsey Freeman Photography. If you're a newborn photographer struggling to get babies posed, then you are in the right place. I'm going to show you this little guy's full newborn session. We're going to start with table posing and then we'll move over to some props. So you saw the first picture I got was so incredibly easy. I just laid baby down on his back. I had the light positioned up towards the top of his head at slightly an angle, and I was able to get a few pictures of him just straight from above, and I didn't really have to pose baby at all. So if you are struggling with posing, I highly suggest you add that into your routine because parents always order those pictures. So now I'm going to get this little guy dressed up in some suspenders so we can get him posed for the bum up pose. It is one of my favorite poses to do. I am picking him up so that I can tuck his little diaper under, and since I already have him in a position where he feels like he's on his tummy, I'm just going to go ahead and take him and pose him right in my arms before I even put him down on the table. Sometimes it's just easier for me to do it that way. If I already have them in my hands, it's just an easier transition and I'm not letting them settle and then disturbing them. Sorry, the camera angle is incredibly awful here. I promise I'm going to get better about that. But I did just go ahead and pose him in my hands. I already had him in a position where he felt kind of like he was on his tummy. So in order to mess with him as little as possible, I thought it'd be best to just go ahead and get him posed and lay him down. And then I can perfect any little details after that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of fix his pose and scrunch his little bottom half forward. What that's gonna do is turn his body into more of a crescent shape. And that way his little head and his little booty are towards me and his little tummy is curving a little bit. And what that's gonna do is give you the cutest little tummy rolls ever. Now, as you can see, I'm keeping my hands on baby as I do any other adjusting because I want to keep baby settled. Babies startle so easily, and so if you have something you can keep on baby, like your hand, some people use weighted blankets, but I just use my hand to keep baby nice and settled and secure, and that way I have less of a chance for them to jolt while I'm perfecting the little details. You can kind of tell by baby how much they've settled and haven't settled, and yeah, just use your better judgment on that. I'm gonna move my light angle. You can see I'm bringing it more forward so the light is brushing across the front of his face. So sorry the camera is not focusing. It bugged me so bad throughout this video that it was not focusing properly. So now that I've tweaked all the little details, his little fingers, his foot, his bum, and the hat, now I think I'm ready to get my picture, so I'm just gonna make sure this light is perfect. You can see the difference in how it falls on him when I move it. And yeah, I'm just gonna take a few quick pictures. Would you believe me if I told you that mom did not order this pose? It broke my heart a little bit. No, it's totally fine. That means we had so many awesome other shots for her to get. But this is one of my absolute favorite poses, so when the parents don't get this one, I have a little baby tear coming out of my eye. But honestly, we got so many good poses and so much variation throughout his session that I totally understand the mom not ordering because she did order this one right here, and you can't beat that little smile. Oh my goodness. This is called the side laying pose, and if I'm going to be honest, I think this is one of the easier poses as well. A good bit of people struggle with that one, but it's really just the angle. You just want the head more forward and you really want to push that bottom half of their body back, and then you will be able to achieve that one, no problem. Now the dad is a soccer player, so they wanted to incorporate some soccer ball poses into this session, so we ended up getting 2 different poses on this table with this soccer ball. So I started off with somewhat doing like the froggy pose, I guess you could say. It's very similar to the froggy pose, but a little different. Baby is going to be propped up, kind of leaning forward on top of this ball, but to me this is easier than froggy pose because the hands got to be placed just straight down on the ball and you didn't have to do the hands in the froggy position. So really this one actually was much easier than doing the froggy pose in my opinion. Now let's talk safety here for a second, because I'm gonna be real, I probably could have placed this baby on this ball in a way where he would have been kind of secure and not fallen. But would I take my hands off that baby? Heck no, no way. You would never catch me doing that. I'm going to use one hand behind baby in one spot, and then I'm going to move my hand and hold him securely so that I can take a picture and have a spot where my hand was in the last picture, this time without my hand, if that makes sense. And then later I will Photoshop them together so that you don't see my hand, but baby in reality was never left untouched. You know, I had baby secured at all times, but it doesn't look like it in the picture obviously, but that is a composite. You always want to do those when you're doing poses like the froggy pose, anything like that for safety, because babies are just so unpredictable. You never know when they're going to squirm, and This is somebody's newborn baby. It's their whole world in your hands. You cannot let anything happen to that sweet baby. And now here is one more variation with this ball. This one is a little bit more like the taco pose, where babies are over to the side, kind of folding over like a little lawn chair. You see, I'm just keeping him nice and settled for a minute so he relaxes on this ball. And we were able to get this one once I felt like he was secure enough. I can move my hand, but you saw I put my hand right back because I was like, man, not loving that. But you just never want to take your hands off of the baby, no matter how secure they seem. Then I figured I would get the little diaper tucked away so we don't see it from the side. And I've just taken this opportunity, now that he's nice and happy, to fix any other little details I need to fix and take my time to make sure he's nice and secure and happy. You do not want to be in a rush when it comes to newborn photography. People are always like, oh my goodness, you have to have so much patience. Yes, you do. Sometimes I might spend upwards of an hour trying to get one pose the parents wanted, and sometimes you just gotta do that because babies run the show. That picture is just absolute perfection to me. Now after seeing, the poses we were able to get, I totally understand more so why mom did not go with the bump up picture, because there are just so many cute ones to pick from. And the way my packages work, I let my clients pick pictures from their gallery, which ones they want. That way they're not spending money on pictures they don't care about. So I do get a little sad sometimes when some of my favorite pictures are not ordered. That is A-okay, as long as parents are happy. So now that we're done with our table posing, we're over here at the bucket, and you can see I'm posing him in my hands first. And all I really try to focus on is getting his little hand under his chin, and then I will crisscross his legs and then place him in the bucket and keep my hands on them to make sure they're nice and secure. So sorry my camera angle is awful. I promise you I'm gonna be better about that for future sessions. I'm gonna fill you in too on what I have in the bottom of this bucket because it is crucial. So the first thing you wanna have is weights in the bottom of your bucket, because you see the baby's on the ledge here. You do not want that baby toppling over the front of that bucket. So I put weights in the bottom of it, just little flat round disc weights to counteract his weight. So I know he ain't toppling over anywhere. And then another crucial piece of equipment I use for this is the bucket hugger from Hello Little. It is so important to me to have that extra wedge for their little hands and arms to prop up onto. And then it also comes with risers you can stack to raise the baby higher or lower depending on baby's size. And then I put baby in, and then I'll put a blanket around their back so they feel a little bit more secure. And that's all she wrote for the bucket shot. And now it is time for our wrapped poses. So here I've got the Swaddle Pro laid out in my lap, and then I put baby on top, crisscross his hands to get him nice and high, and then you just fold the wrap all around. It's got Velcro in the back so it stays nicely secured. So now that his top half is secured, I'm gonna lay him down, and then we're gonna crisscross his little feetsies. And what this is gonna do is just get him in a nice little round ball shape, if you will. And I'm gonna take this swaddle and place it over his feet. It is so stretchy, it is so soft. It kind of just makes them feel like they're back in mommy's tummy again. And then the back part will Velcro against the back. And there you have a little peanut baby. Now we are ready to do our wrapping. So I'm gonna do the potato belt next. This is from the Newborn Nerds, and this is just gonna help fill that gap between their legs and their arms. Sorry, this is so incredibly out of focus. I'm so frustrated. It did not focus this whole time. And then on top, you're gonna put the fat suit. And this is that little gray round looking piece of fabric fluff, and this is just gonna go around his top half, and I just kind of pull it down enough to where it gives him a round shape. I am gonna say the potato wrap is very much so an illusion. People think that we're putting the entire baby in this tiny little round ball of a wrap. That's not the case. You see where the gray stops right there, the gray fat suit stops? That's the end of my little ball. The rest of him, the bottom half where his feet are, you're not gonna be able to see that in the picture, so I'm not worried about that. So baby really looks like he's got like a really oblong, like round ball shape on his top half, and then he kind of thins out into his little like feet sticking out at the bottom. I don't mind the bottom of it because the angle that I have to take all these pictures, you're basically shooting straight down at baby, and so you don't even see their feet or anything. So it's very much so an illusion when it comes to this wrap. The entire baby is not fit in that ball. It is merely the baby's torso and top half that is fitting in that little ball shape. The rest is just hidden, and you don't see his little legs at the bottom. So I was busy talking. I wasn't able to explain so much while I was doing it, but on top of the fat suit, I do just a plain color wrap. Here I use just like a neutral color jersey knit wrap, but sometimes I'll use like a blue that matches this top knit wrap. Just depends on, I don't know how it looks, what I have on hand. You can't see underneath it. I just make sure I don't have like a neon pink wrap underneath this blue, because then you would see that underneath through all the little holes of the knit fabric. But then, you know, there's many different ways you can wrap the knit wrap on top. I personally love doing this little crisscross. So I go around one way and then go opposite 2 times, and it gives that cute little swoop of the wrap. And then I'm just going to throw his bonnet on, give it a little tie, and we'll be all set to put him down in his prop. We are going to be placing him down on a sweet little chair, and he's going to be basically like standing up, if you will. I absolutely love to have them hold little stuffies when they are in this potato wrap. It just looks so stinking cute, and it like pushes their cheeks up and makes them look all plump. So I just kind of put the bear in there in both hands. If they're not cooperating, sometimes I'll just put the bear in one hand and just place him down in the prop. I've got a pillow over to the side to support his head and let him rest on. And I'm just gonna watch all the little details, like the way he's positioned, how the light is gonna be hitting his face. Definitely watch out for his little fingers, because I tell you, fingers are like one of the most important things you wanna look out for when it comes to newborn photography. If you're trying to perfect all your details, the little hands make such a big difference, because typically babies like to do like little claw fingers, and you don't really want that. So try to get them nice and soft, laid out fingers. And then things like these bonnet ties, I also like to watch how I place those, because if they're just laying down by the side, it can look cute. But if they're like swooped like this, oh my gosh, it just is another little added eye candy to me. So I like to take that extra time and just do something cutesy with the bonnet ties. And now that he's all posed up, I think we are ready to shoot. And you see I'm standing right by him. My hand did a quick little off to take the picture, right back on. He's not going anywhere, but I'm also not going anywhere to make sure he is good. And then we're gonna do one more potato wrap, because this is one of the fabrics from Dad's home place. And I love when people incorporate things from, you know, their family culture into the session. So I was super pumped about this. So we decided to do blue and a red hat. That way it kind of incorporated the different colors in the fabric. And I'm being very picky about how this hat is laying on him, but little things like that really catch my attention and can make or break a picture. So I was just rotating him to make sure I left his angle. Don't worry, this baby's not going anywhere. He's placed inside the newborn nest. It's basically like this big donut, and he is right in the center of it. And then on top of the fur being in there, he ain't going nowhere. He's not toppling over, so I am safe to do this pose without having my hands on him. All right, now we're gonna get ready for the peeky toe shot. So I took all the layers off the top of him, and the underneath layer, that Swaddle Pro, is still there. I just pulled his feet out through that hole, and now he's ready to be wrapped in the top layer color. So we went with green. That right there is the Hello Little set of risers, and those are amazing for using on the table posing. I use them over on my big table when I do those table poses, but then also when I do stuff like this on my doggy bed. They are awesome for that as well. And then the head piece, the head wedge, it has like a little triangle on the top to keep baby's head from going side to side. Oh, it's my favorite thing to use when I do these pictures right here, because normally baby wants their head to be going side to side. But if you have that head wedge piece, oh my goodness, it makes it 10 times easier. So we are all done with this Sweet Angel Baby's photo shoot. If you guys are interested in seeing more, be sure to follow along, because I have a year's worth of videos to be sharing.